Alex had never imagined that exploring a distant planet would change his life forever. He had always loved the thrill of discovery, the feeling of walking where no human had walked before. This planet, known to the galaxy as Virelia, was said to be uninhabited except for small pockets of wildlife. Its landscapes were breathtaking, towering crystal mountains that glowed faintly at night, vast forests with trees that seemed to hum with energy, and rivers of liquid silver that reflected the twin suns above. Despite its beauty, Virelia had a reputation. The empire that ruled over nearby systems warned travelers to stay away. Certain areas were forbidden, guarded fiercely by automated drones and surveillance satellites. But Alex was not one to heed warnings blindly. He wanted to explore, to see for himself what mysteries lay hidden in the forbidden zones. That morning, Alex packed his equipment and activated his hover boots, soaring quietly above the forest canopy. His mission was simple: map the terrain and collect samples for research. But the closer he got to the restricted Imperial zone, the more his instincts screamed that this mission was different. Something about this area felt alive. As he approached a jagged ridge, Alex noticed movement below. A figure was moving swiftly between the trees, too agile and precise to be wildlife. Curiosity piqued, he descended closer, careful to remain unseen. The figure was small, lithe, and wore a dark cloak that shimmered under Virelia's light. It moved like it belonged to the forest, as if the trees themselves were guiding its steps. Before Alex could react, a sudden noise, mechanical, harsh, echoed through the valley. Drones. Imperial drones. His heart raced. Anyone caught in this zone without permission faced immediate capture or worse. But the figure did not flee. Instead, it darted forward with impossible speed, weaving through the trees and rocks. Alex had no choice but to follow. He landed silently near a cluster of crystalline boulders, watching as the figure approached a small cave hidden beneath a natural arch. Just as Alex was about to step closer, he heard a voice, soft, urgent, commanding. "This way, quickly." The figure turned, revealing a young woman with bright, intelligent eyes and hair the color of sunlight filtered through amber. Alex froze. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen. There was an energy about her, a presence that demanded attention. Who are you?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice calm. "No time to explain," she said, pulling him into the shadows of the cave. "The drones are scanning for intruders. If they see us together, we're both in trouble." Alex barely had time to comprehend. The drone's red sensors glowed from above, scanning every inch of the valley. He crouched, heart pounding, as the girl led him deeper into the cave. Finally, she stopped and turned to him. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice firm but not unkind. "And I need your help. You may not realize it yet, but you are now part of something far bigger than yourself." Alex blinked, unsure whether to believe her. "Part of what? And why me?" Lyra's expression softened for a brief moment. "Because you showed bravery when others would have hidden. You followed me into danger without knowing what you were stepping into. That tells me you are different. And I need someone different right now." Alex swallowed. His mind raced. This was no ordinary situation. He had stumbled into an Imperial secret, and now a young woman, clearly not ordinary herself, was asking him to trust her completely. Before he could respond, a low hum filled the cave. The drones had detected something. They were closing in. Red lights flickered across the cave entrance. Lyra's eyes sharpened. "Stay close to me," she whispered. With a series of swift, precise movements, she activated a small device on her wrist. The cave walls shimmered and shifted, revealing a hidden tunnel behind a crystal formation. Without hesitation, she led Alex into the passage. The tunnel was narrow and winding, but somehow it seemed built for someone like Lyra. She moved effortlessly, while Alex struggled to keep up. The walls glowed faintly, revealing ancient markings and symbols that pulsed with a strange energy. "What is this place?" Alex asked, awe and fear mingling in his voice. "A safe path," Lyra said simply, "one that few have ever seen. It leads to the city, but not through the usual gates. We can avoid the patrols this way." As they moved deeper, Alex began to notice other details. The air smelled faintly metallic, like the essence of the planet itself. Tiny, luminescent creatures scurried along the walls, leaving trails of light behind. It was beautiful, almost magical, but he could not shake the feeling of tension. Every step felt like a risk. Finally, the tunnel opened into a hidden clearing. From this vantage point, Alex could see the Imperial city in the distance. a massive structure of shining towers and intricate bridges, surrounded by walls of reinforced crystal. He had never imagined such a place existed on this planet. Lyra stopped and turned to him. Once we enter the city, things will become more complicated. You will see the Empire's rules, and you may question why I chose to reveal myself. But you must trust me. I will not let anyone harm you, not if I can help it. Alex hesitated. Why me? I'm just a human explorer. Lyra smiled faintly, but there was no warmth in it, only determination. You are human. That alone makes you extraordinary here. Most would follow rules blindly. Most would hesitate, doubt themselves. But you act when it matters. That is rare. That is why I cannot let you go. The words struck Alex in a way he had not expected. The weight of them settled over him. He had always believed in human ingenuity and the ability to adapt and survive, but this was recognition from someone who belonged to a civilization far older, far more advanced. They began the descent toward the city. As they moved, Lyra explained bits about her life. She was the young princess of the Empire, expected to follow strict protocols and alliances. Yet she longed for freedom, for knowledge, for someone who could understand her beyond the title she bore. Alex realized that she was not just courageous, she was trapped, in a sense, by duty and expectation. The closer they got to the city, the more Alex felt the tension building. Imperial patrols moved along the streets scanning for intruders. Towering vehicles hovered silently, carrying soldiers with sleek, reflective armor. But despite the danger, Lyra moved with confidence, guiding him through alleys, over bridges, and past checkpoints that seemed impossible to bypass. Finally, they reached a secluded courtyard within the city walls. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes serious. This is the first safe place inside the city. For now, you are under my protection. But you must understand, the Empire is not kind to those it does not know. They will question you, test you, and some may wish to see you gone. Alex nodded, feeling both awe and fear. I don't even know where to begin. This place, it's incredible, but also terrifying. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. You will begin by trusting me. That is enough for now. Tomorrow I will show you more. About the Empire, about its secrets, and why you are here. For tonight, rest. You have earned it. As Alex lay on the floor of the quiet courtyard, staring at the stars through the transparent roof above, he could not stop thinking about what Lyra had said. Chosen him. Refused to let him go. The weight of those words pressed on him, but alongside it came a strange sense of purpose. Somehow, he felt that this encounter was the beginning of something extraordinary, something that would change not only his life, but perhaps the course of the Empire itself. The twin moons of Veralia rose in the sky, casting silver light over the city. Alex closed his eyes, wondering what tomorrow would bring. And deep in the shadows, Lyra watched him, her expression unreadable. She had made her choice, and there would be no turning back. The morning sun crept over the gleaming towers of the Imperial city, painting them with gold and silver light. Alex woke slowly, feeling both excitement and nervousness. Last night had been surreal. He had crossed into forbidden territory, met the young Princess Lyra, and now he was inside the heart of her empire. Somehow it all felt too incredible to be real. Lyra was already awake, standing at the edge of the courtyard, looking out over the city. She wore simple clothes, far different from the ornate garments one might expect of a princess. Her hair caught the light, giving her an almost radiant aura. When she noticed Alex stirring, she turned and smiled faintly. "Good morning," she said. "You slept well, I hope." Alex rubbed his eyes. "Better than I expected, considering everything. But I still feel like I'm walking into a dream. This city, it's unbelievable." Lyra laughed softly, the sound light and musical. "It is easy to be amazed when you are seeing it for the first time. But there is more to the city than its towers and streets. You will see that very soon." After a brief breakfast of fresh fruit and nutrient packs, Lyra led Alex through a series of hidden passages that wound beneath the Imperial city. The passages were narrow and dimly lit, but their walls were lined with intricate symbols and strange machines that hummed with energy. Alex could barely keep up, his curiosity making him forget the tension of being in forbidden areas. "What is all this?" he asked. "These machines, these markings? They are remnants of the Empire's earliest days," Lyra explained. "Our ancestors left them here to protect knowledge, to ensure that only those with courage and wisdom could reach it. Many consider it legend. Few know the truth. Alex felt a thrill run through him. Humans had always been explorers, drawn to the unknown. Now he was walking through the secret veins of a civilization far older and more advanced than his own. He had to admit it was thrilling, but also slightly terrifying. The tunnel opened into a hidden library, unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Towers of books, digital archives, and crystalline data storage units stretched as far as he could see. Light from floating orbs illuminated the room, reflecting off the glassy surfaces and casting prismatic patterns on the floor. "This is incredible," Alex breathed. "I've never seen technology and knowledge combined like this." Lyra nodded. "This is where I come when I want to learn without restrictions. I study history, science, strategy, everything that might help me protect the Empire in ways that the court would never allow." She turned to him, her expression serious. "And now you will see why I needed you. There are forces within the Empire that do not want me to learn freely, that would see knowledge and choice destroyed. You have already shown courage and cleverness. That is why I trust you." Alex felt a mix of pride and pressure. He had never imagined that his simple curiosity would make him part of something so important. Their exploration was interrupted by a sudden alert, a soft chime from Lyra's wrist device. Her face tightened. "Trouble," she said. "A faction in the council has learned that I am outside the palace walls. They may try to bring me back forcibly. We need to move quickly." Alex's pulse quickened. He had already faced danger with her, but now the stakes seemed higher. Lyra led him through another series of hidden corridors that wound beneath the city like a spider's web. Along the way, she explained the inner workings of the Empire, the council, the military divisions, and the strict rules that governed life here. "This Empire values order above all," she said. "But sometimes order conflicts with what is right. That is where courage comes in. That is where someone like you, Alex, can make a difference." He listened intently, realizing that Lyra was more than just a young princess. She was a leader, someone who understood that change required both knowledge and bravery. Finally, they emerged onto a balcony overlooking a central plaza. People moved below in perfect synchrony, their uniforms neat and precise. Hover vehicles glided silently through the air. The city was alive, but in a way that seemed controlled, almost calculated. "This is where they will notice me first," Lyra said. Her eyes scanned the plaza. "If I appear publicly, some will see it as defiance. They may attempt to discredit me, or worse." Alex looked at her. "Then we need a plan." Lyra smiled faintly. "You are thinking like a human already." "Yes, we need a plan, but first you must understand them." She gestured toward the plaza. "Watch." For the next hour they observed the people below. Soldiers trained with precision, council members moved with purpose, and citizens went about their routines efficiently. But Alex noticed something unusual. The expressions on some faces. Subtle hints of fear, doubt, and curiosity. Not everyone blindly followed the rules. Even in a strict empire, humans or aliens are not entirely predictable, Alex remarked. Lyra nodded. Exactly. People are influenced by courage and ideas even here. That is why I chose you. Your presence may inspire change or at least protect me while I seek it. Their observation was cut short by the sudden appearance of a patrol drone. Its red sensors swept across the plaza, and Lyra's posture stiffened. They are scanning for intruders. We cannot stay exposed. She grabbed Alex's hand and pulled him toward a narrow staircase that led down into the lower levels of the city. As they descended, Alex realized the complexity of the Empire's inner workings. Secret passages, surveillance systems, and hidden checkpoints formed a maze beneath the streets. It was both fascinating and intimidating. Eventually, they reached a small hidden chamber lined with advanced equipment. Lyra gestured to a console. Here we can monitor council activities, learn about their plans, and prepare for what comes next. But you must understand, you are no longer just a visitor. Your decisions here could affect the entire Empire. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Yet alongside the pressure came determination. He had always faced challenges with curiosity and resourcefulness. Now those traits were not just for exploration. They could protect a young princess and perhaps even influence the fate of an empire. Lyra studied him closely. You are ready, she said softly. But there will be tests. The council may attempt to manipulate, deceive, or challenge you. You must remain alert and true to yourself. That is the only way to survive here, and to help me. As they spent the day studying the city's movements, Alex learned more about the Empire than he had ever imagined possible. He saw its strengths: brilliant technology, disciplined citizens, and a history of remarkable achievements. He also saw its weaknesses: rigid traditions, fear of change, and factions that sought power over justice. By evening, the two returned to the hidden chamber. Lyra had prepared a map of the city with possible routes for safe movement, escape paths, and locations where council influence was strongest. "Tomorrow," she said, "we begin a different kind of training. You will learn how to navigate the Empire openly, how to interact with its people, and how to survive if the council decides to act against us." Alex nodded, feeling both anticipation and anxiety. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. He would need to rely on his wits, his courage, and the trust Lyra had placed in him. As night fell over the Imperial City, Alex lay on the floor of the hidden chamber, staring at the ceiling and thinking about everything he had learned. The city was vast, the Empire complex, and the challenges ahead daunting. But he also knew something else. He was not alone. Lyra had chosen him, trusted him, and refused to let him go. And in that simple truth, Alex found a sense of purpose and strength he had never felt before. Above the city, the stars sparkled through the transparent domes. Alex closed his eyes, preparing for the trials of tomorrow. He did not yet know what the council would do or how the Empire would test him. But he knew one thing. Together with Lyra, he would face whatever came, and perhaps prove that even a human in an alien empire could make a difference. And deep in the shadows of the chamber, Lyra watched him once more, a determined glint in her eyes. She had made her choice, and she would protect it at all costs. The next morning, Alex awoke to the sound of soft humming from the machines in the hidden chamber. The city outside was already alive with movement, and he could feel a tension in the air that hadn't been there the day before. Lyra was pacing quietly, her expression focused. "We have work to do," she said without looking at him. "The council is not idle. They may have noticed my absence yesterday, and now they will watch carefully for anything unusual." Alex nodded, though a part of him felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down. He had learned much about the Empire, but now it was clear that knowledge alone would not be enough. They would have to act, and act carefully. Lyra led him to a smaller room within the hidden chamber. The walls were lined with holographic screens, displaying live footage from the city's surveillance systems. Soldiers patrolled the streets, council members moved through their meetings, and drones scanned the skies. "This," Lyra said, sweeping her hand over the displays, "is what you must understand first. The Empire thrives on control. They observe everything. To survive here, we must predict their moves before they even know we exist." Alex leaned over the console, studying the patterns. "It's like a game," he said. "Every move has a consequence, but it also feels dangerous. One mistake could be fatal," Lyra finished for him. "Exactly. That is why we train. That is why you are here." For the next few hours, they worked together, analyzing patrol routes, identifying weaknesses in the surveillance systems, and planning safe paths for movement through the city. Lyra challenged Alex constantly, asking him to think creatively, to notice details others might miss, and to find solutions that combined human ingenuity with imperial technology. "You are learning quickly," Lyra said finally, her tone both approving and serious. "But today will be more than training. You will see what it truly means to navigate the Empire under threat." Before Alex could ask what she meant, Lyra led him through one of the secret passages into a lower district of the city. This part of the Empire was less polished, the streets narrower and shadowed. Council patrols were more frequent, and the citizens here watched strangers with suspicion. "There is a faction within the council," Lyra explained as they moved quickly along the alleys. "They wish to remove me from power. If they see you, or if they realize you are helping me, they may try to use you against me. Today you will experience their efforts firsthand." They arrived at a crowded marketplace where merchants sold exotic goods from across the galaxy. Holographic signs flickered above, advertising products with bright colors and flashing lights. Alex marveled at the variety, but Lyra's focus was elsewhere. "Stay close," she whispered. "We are being watched." Sure enough, a group of council agents appeared among the crowd, dressed in plain clothes but carrying subtle devices that betrayed their authority. Their eyes scanned the marketplace, searching for any sign of disruption. Alex's heart raced. He had never faced such an organized, careful threat. Every step felt dangerous, yet Lyra moved with confidence, guiding him through the stalls, past crowds, and into narrow side streets. Suddenly, one of the agents spotted them. A silent alarm beeped from his wrist device. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We need to move, now." They darted into an abandoned building, the agents close behind. Alex's mind raced, trying to remember the routes Lyra had shown him. Using his knowledge of human reflexes and instincts, he helped navigate obstacles, signaling to Lyra which paths were safer and which could trap them. They emerged into a hidden courtyard, breathing hard. The agents had not followed them this far, but Alex could see their drones hovering in the distance, scanning for movement. "You did well," Lyra said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You adapted quickly. That is what I needed to see. Human adaptability is remarkable." Alex smiled faintly, though he felt a mix of fear and pride. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance. You know this city better than anyone." Lyra studied him for a moment. "Perhaps, but even I cannot predict everything. That is why having someone like you, someone who thinks differently, makes a difference. The Council underestimates humans. That is our advantage." Their moment of relief was short-lived. A soft vibration ran through the courtyard floor, a warning signal from Lyra's wrist device. She looked toward the city walls, her expression sharp. "They are coming," she said. "A larger force is moving to capture us. We must get to safety before they corner us." Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. This was no longer training. This was survival. Together they sprinted through the hidden pathways beneath the city, dodging patrols, avoiding surveillance drones, and using every trick they had learned. Alex relied on instincts and quick thinking, finding shortcuts and alternative routes that even Lyra had not considered. Finally, they reached a secure location within the palace grounds, an ancient armory that had been converted into a safe house. Lyra activated the security systems and the heavy doors closed behind them. For a moment, they allowed themselves to breathe. Alex slumped against the wall, exhausted, but exhilarated. "I didn't know humans could move like this," he said, trying to catch his breath. Lyra smiled faintly. "You are learning fast. That is why I chose you. You have courage, adaptability, and intelligence, all traits that are rare here. The Council may have power, but we have something they do not: the ability to think differently." As they rested, Lyra explained more about the rival faction within the Council. Their leader, a man named Valcor, was ambitious and ruthless. He believed the princess's actions threatened the stability of the Empire and was determined to remove her from influence. Valcor's agents were everywhere, watching for any opportunity to strike. "You and I together," Lyra said quietly, "are the only ones who can stay ahead of him. That is why I cannot let you go, Alex. You are more important than you realize." Alex looked at her, understanding the weight of her words. I don't know if I'm ready for all of this," he admitted. "It's bigger than anything I've faced before." Lyra placed her hand gently on his arm. "None of us are ever truly ready. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite it. That is why humans like you are extraordinary. You do not wait for permission. You act when it matters." The rest of the day passed in tense preparation. They studied city maps, identified potential traps, and planned escape routes. Alex realized that surviving here would require not only skill but trust. Trust between him and Lyra, and trust in his own instincts. As night fell over the city, Alex and Lyra moved to a high balcony overlooking the main streets. From this vantage point they could see the patrols, the drones, and the glow of the city lights reflecting off the towering buildings. "They will try again," Lyra said. "The Council does not give up easily. But we are ready, and we have an advantage they do not expect." Alex nodded. He felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He had faced danger before, but never like this. He was part of something far greater than exploration or discovery. He was part of a struggle for the safety and future of an empire. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. Tomorrow, we will test your skills in another way. You will face challenges that will require quick thinking, courage, and trust in yourself. Are you ready for that? Alex took a deep breath, looking out over the city. He did not know what awaited them, but he knew one thing. He would face it with Lyra by his side. For the first time in his life, he felt a true sense of purpose. He was not just a human explorer. He was part of the Empire's story, part of its future, and part of something that mattered far beyond himself. And deep in the shadows, the rival faction moved, unaware that their next move would be met by two who refused to be defeated, one human, one princess, bound by trust, courage, and determination. The city was quiet that morning, but Alex could feel the tension in the air. The rival faction within the council was growing bolder, and the threat to Lyra was more real than ever. Yet despite the danger, he felt a growing confidence. He had faced tests, navigated the city under pursuit, and survived encounters that would have daunted anyone else. Now he was ready for what lay ahead. Lyra appeared at the hidden chamber doorway, her expression resolute. "Today we end this," she said. "Valcor and his faction will make their move and we will be ready. But you must remain focused. Every decision you make matters," Alex nodded. He had trained with her, learned the city's secret paths, and adapted to its challenges. But nothing could have prepared him fully for the confrontation to come. Together, they moved through the city's underlayers, silent and careful, until they reached a vantage point overlooking the council's central chamber. From here they could see the leaders gathering, their discussions sharp and tense. Alex noticed Valcor, tall and imposing, whispering instructions to his aides. It was clear he had no intention of letting the princess continue unchecked. Lyra glanced at Alex. "We must act with precision. The moment they try to seize me, we counter. Are you ready?" Alex swallowed but nodded. "I am." As the council's meeting began, Lyra and Alex moved swiftly through the secret passages, positioning themselves near the central hall. Their plan was simple yet risky. They would expose Valcor's conspiracy, prevent him from acting against the princess, and show the council the consequences of underestimating a human's resourcefulness. When the moment came, Valcor's agents attempted to breach the chamber, expecting an unprepared Lyra, but Alex and Lyra were ready. Using a combination of quick thinking, knowledge of the passages, and the city's security systems, they created distractions that misled the agents and allowed them to reach the chamber unnoticed. Alex guided Lyra through a hidden door that led directly behind the council members' seats. From here, they could observe without being seen. Valcor, confident and arrogant, did not suspect that his plans were about to unravel. Lyra spoke firmly, her voice calm but commanding. "Council members, you have been misled. Valcor and his faction seek to control the Empire for their own gain. They intend to remove me, to silence progress and fear human ingenuity." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Valcor's face darkened, realizing that his plot had been exposed. He tried to defend himself, but Lyra continued, her words precise and undeniable. Alex stepped forward, drawing on his knowledge of the city's systems. Using a small device, he projected holographic evidence of Valcor's plans, communications, hidden movements, and surveillance footage, showing his attempts to undermine the princess. The council members gasped, seeing the truth laid bare. "You see?" Lyra said, her eyes fixed on Alex with a mixture of pride and gratitude. "Humans may be outsiders, but their minds are sharp and their courage unmatched. Alex's actions have proven that judgment and bravery are not bound by species or tradition." Valcor realized the tide had turned. His influence waned as the council absorbed the evidence. His agents, previously confident, now faltered under the scrutiny of their superiors. Alex felt a surge of determination. This was more than survival. It was a demonstration of human ingenuity and adaptability. Every skill he had learned, every instinct he had relied upon, now contributed to the safety of the princess and the exposure of corruption. The council deliberated quickly, their decision unanimous. Valcor and his faction were removed from positions of power, their plots nullified by the undeniable proof and the human who had helped bring it to light. Lyra turned to Alex, her expression radiant. You did it. Together, we prevented a crisis and you showed the Council the value of courage and intelligence. Alex smiled, though he felt the exhaustion of the past days. We did it together. You trusted me and that made all the difference. The city began to breathe easier. Citizens went about their day, unaware of how close they had come to upheaval. Patrols returned to normal, drones resumed their standard routes, and life in the Empire continued, but now with a new understanding of what humans could contribute. Lyra led Alex to the palace balcony, where the view of the city was breathtaking under the afternoon sun. Towers of glass and crystal reflected light in dazzling patterns, and the people below moved with renewed energy. You have changed the perception of humanity here, Lyra said softly. They will remember your courage, your resourcefulness, and your loyalty, and I will never forget it. Alex felt a warmth he had never experienced before. I never imagined my journey would lead to this. To be part of an empire, to make a difference, and to have you trust me. Lyra's gaze held his, steady and unwavering. I trust you completely, and I cannot let you leave. Not because the Empire requires it, but because I have chosen you. You are part of my world now, Alex. The words were simple but carried immense weight. Alex realized that his place in the Empire was no longer temporary or incidental. He was valued not just for his skills but for who he was, human, courageous, and loyal. In the days that followed, Alex and Lyra worked closely to implement reforms that encouraged cooperation between humans and Imperial citizens. Alex shared knowledge of human problem-solving and adaptability, while Lyra guided him through the Empire's traditions and strategies. Their partnership became an example of how different strengths could unite for the greater good. The Council recognized the unique value Alex brought, not as an outsider, but as someone whose courage and ingenuity complemented the Empire's strengths. Citizens began to see humans not as strangers but as allies. Despite the recognition and success, the bond between Alex and Lyra remained personal. They shared quiet moments overlooking the city, discussing dreams, possibilities, and the future of the Empire. For Alex, it was more than admiration. It was a sense of belonging, of being chosen by someone extraordinary in a world far from home. One evening, as the twin moons of Virelia rose high above the city, Lyra led Alex to a secluded balcony within the palace. The city lights reflected in their eyes as she spoke softly. You have proven yourself, Alex. Not just in action, but in character. You are part of my world, and I will not let you go. Together we will shape the future of this empire, guided by courage, intelligence, and trust. Alex felt the full weight of her words, the depth of trust and choice they represented. He knew he had found more than adventure on Virelia. He had found purpose, partnership, and a place where his humanity mattered. As they stood together looking out over the city, Alex realized that the Empire's young princess had not just chosen him for protection or strategy. She had chosen him for who he was, human, brave, and unwavering. And in that choice, Alex understood something fundamental about himself. Humanity's strength was not in technology or power alone, but in courage, ingenuity, and the heart to act when it mattered most. The Empire, once rigid and cautious, was now open to possibilities it had never imagined. And Alex, the human from a distant world, was at the center of that change, standing beside the young princess who had refused to let him go. Together, they would face the future, ready for whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. For Alex, the journey had begun as exploration, but it had become something far greater. A story of trust, courage, and the extraordinary impact of one human in an alien empire. And high above the city, the twin moons glimmered, reflecting a new era, a time when humanity's heart and mind could shine even among the stars.